If you're a parent, you know there's a lot of things you worry about your child. Just making sure they're safe throughout the day, that they're healthy, that they're they're not in danger, that you know where they are. I mean, remember when we were growing up, if you're Gen X, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? Well, times have changed a little bit. Or have they? Because now, many of us who are in our 40s, 50s, or beyond, we find ourselves in a situation where we don't have to look out for our kids and wonder if they're safe or healthy. We have to worry about our own older mom or dad or loved one and make sure that we know where they're located at all times. We know that they woke up in the morning, that they're doing okay, that they're healthy. Did they eat? Did they take their medicine? We're in a situation now where many of us have to parent our parents. And the hard part is, if there's only one hard part, is trying to keep track of it all. How do you keep your own life together and all the things that you have to remember and do, and still make sure that they're doing what needs to happen and that you're on top of it? We're going to talk about that today on the Advanced Adulting Podcast. My guest is Anish Desai. Anish is the founder of mySeniorCareHub. It was a personal situation of having his own mother fall and not knowing where she is or how she is that led him to create this company and the technology that allows us to keep track of and to monitor a variety of these functions and things that we need about their safety, about their location, about their meds, and just being able to create good information that makes them feel good and us, just to get from your phone in a way that's super easy. With so many seniors choosing to age at home, it's increasingly important to stay on top of this, whether they are across town or across the world. We're going to talk a little bit about the preventative nature of caregiving and really how there's some remarkably simple things that you can do to check on, to even ask, that can alleviate and prevent some big problems down the road. I invite you to join me for this great conversation with Anish Desai. I'm Bradley Richardson, and this is Advanced Adulting. Anish Desai, welcome to Advanced Adulting. You've got a lot of good things to say, and you're doing a lot of good work out there right now. It's interesting because caregiving impacts so many of us. It hits so many people, regardless of your income, your background, your education, and even your geography. And it hits so many of us. And what I've been impressed with, so many people like yourself and entrepreneurs in the market, it's a huge market. It's a huge business opportunity. But more importantly, everyone I've encountered in this who has started a company that serves caregivers or seniors has a personal story. They're doing it for not just business or monetary reasons. They're taking their life experience and business experience and bringing it to something that really is personal to each of them. And you're no different. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you got into this and created mySeniorCareHub.
So it's an interesting story. The journey started with my own family issues, and my mom was at home and she fell down, and I think she was on the floor for about 4 hours. And she had no help. There was no way to reach anybody. And that started me looking at and exploring the different options of how to keep her safe at home. And then I explored the different options, and there were not that many options available 24/7. That was one thing. And there was not a single app which could do that.
Right. And what's your background? Your background is what, engineer by training, or kind of how did you have something, your mom falls, and then you're figuring, I have this background and this way to create a solution to make it happen?
So I've been in technology for the last 30 years, but it's more towards IT projects. But last 10 years, I've been involved in healthcare related activities and mainly the senior population. But that was more towards enterprise solution.
Yeah.
But then I said, how can I help at home? And so I started focusing from enterprise to a consumer solution where I can help somebody at home. Healthcare, if I can save every life at home, that is what my passion is about.
Yeah. It's different when it hits at home, isn't it? And it's one of those things that, we all have parents, no matter what your relationship is, you have them. And if you're in a situation where you know that they're getting older, they're frail, and we think about something can happen but we really put it in the back of our mind until it really does. Like your mom falling there. That happened to me with my mom had lived several, I was in Dallas. She was in a different part of Texas. My sister lived somewhere in a totally different state. And she fell, and very much like your mom. I mean, she was laying there for a day. She fell in the shower and laid there for a day before we knew anything, because we talked to her a lot, but you just don't know. And that that fear is always there. But when it happens, when you need something, it becomes this 911. Oh my God, what do we do? And um, what are some of the things that you've found for caregivers? I mean, your own personal experience when you have a parent fall, or when you realize, hey, I need something right now. What are the big issues that people encounter?
So there are three or four major concerns. One is, of course, as you mentioned, that most of the kids live in different city and different state. So they have a hard time having a help which is local. So they are looking for some solution which is remotely they can help. And for the number one issue is fall detection. 92% of the people fall every year. And there's a major fall issue for senior aging population. Second thing is seniors are looking, when they're living independently, they're looking for safety at home. So if there's any fire or anything with carbon monoxide or anything with theft, they want safety at home along
Hmm.
with fall detection. So they're looking for somebody with peace of mind for a solution where they can have a safety at home. Those
Hmm.
are the two major concerns: safety with fall detection and this additional issues I mentioned.
Well, yeah, I mean, with so many families now being distributed and scattered all across the country or even across the world, yeah, I mean, just that, knowing that someone's safe, having the ability to reach out to somebody and check in. I mean, that's key. And sometimes you just, you don't know where to turn for that. And it's a peace of mind of at least knowing that there's someone beyond 911 that I can reach out to.
And one more thing I just forgot to mention is location tracking. Like every day, I want to know where my parents are, right? When
Hmm.
they go out for park, they go out to temple, they go out to church, where they are they safe while they're traveling around daily activities?
Hmm.
That is one more concern. I want to have a real time tracking mechanism where I can track on my phone or my smartphone or smartwatch where my father or mother is. That's another big location tracking is another big challenge.
Right. Making sure they're not at the casino blowing your inheritance, right? Yeah, I think that's the thing. And with so many families experiencing a loved one with dementia now, that's even more critical. Having that location, knowing where they're at any given time. And we've all heard, horror stories about a senior or loved one wandering off, and they're fine, but they don't realize where they are. And that's the panic moment for everybody, isn't it?
Right. And so it's a good, that's a great thing you just mentioned was wandering around. The lot of Alzheimer and dementia patients who wander around, and son and daughter wants to make sure they are safe. The geofencing, which is a virtual fencing, is also critical of when they step out of the house. I want to get an alert that where they're going. So I can be more proactive versus trying to locate after 4 hours.
So it's not, I mean, I know privacy is a huge issue for everybody, and even your parents. I mean, look, they want, yeah, you're the loved one, the family, the child. It's like, I don't want you in my business everywhere. But, and it's funny, that word geofencing I've heard for a long, long time, but, someone thinking, oh, you're going to corral me. The technology here is not just being able to invade their privacy and know where they're at any given time. But you're saying that there's an ability to set a parameter. So you're fine, but if you go half a mile from the house or something, you can set it. Then it will send an alert, and you can then begin to track someone. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So you can set a parameter saying 100 mile, 50 mile, or 100-meter, depending on the criticality of each individual. You can
Right.
set the parameter of the radius for geofencing.
And this is just being able to see where they're at. It's kind of like the Find Your iPhone, which I lose my phone all the time. It's not gonna show me a picture, but it tells me I lost it in the couch again. This is no different, and I think that's important because I've talked to several people who, you can get anything, and there's anybody in this space is doing good work, but you have a lot of things that are maybe a camera. No one wants to be spied on, but this is just Hey, tells me where they're at so I can and know that they're okay or where they need to be.
Especially when they're going out and they fall, you want to know the last known location. So this help the tracking mechanism helps you for emergency help.
Yeah. And again, there's so many different, things out there of wearables and things like that. I don't wear an iWatch or an Apple Watch. I had one. I hated it. I just didn't like wearing that. And I can only imagine a senior or anyone really saying, I have to wear this necklace or medallion or bracelet or something. And what you do is just, it's a phone, right? All this is done through their phone. So if they have their phone with them, everything's good to go, correct?
Absolutely. And one more thing I would like to add, which is also critical, is every son and daughter, when they get up in the morning, they want to make sure my parents are okay at home. They're at 7 a.m. Generally, people call every morning, Dad, are you okay or not? So that reassurance of daily morning check in is also
Hmm.
critical. And
Yeah.
that also gives you a peace of mind.
Yeah. Well, and I know that proof of life. I did that with my kids, even, and yes, in a perfect world, you'd love to sit there and have a phone call every day and talk with them. But look, sometimes you can't, and sometimes, frankly, you don't want to because you're in the middle of something. You just want to know that they're okay. You're on your way to work, and you're like, oh my god, I'm going to be sucked into 30 minutes of talking to mom and dad on something. But this is just a pretty simple, inconspicuous way to check in and go, I'm good, I'm all right.
And even a simple text message, you don't have to make a phone call. Simple text message that I'm okay gives you a peace of mind.
Yeah, that's all. That's just it. Whether it's a text, whether it's something like your app. I mean, I've told my kids that. Look, I would do that. It's a proof of life. I say proof of life. They just give me a thumbs up. I'm like, good. That's all I need to know. I just need to know you're okay, and that's it. What about some parents who are stubborn? Because God knows, no one's ever had an older stubborn parent, right? And it's the how are you doing? And it's like I'm fine, I'm okay. But they're not. Oh, I mean, they're reluctant to say anything. They want to be strong, and again, I'm sure that some people have folks that everything's wrong. But for those of them that are a little stubborn, how do you really make sure that they're okay? If they don't want to open up or really don't want y'all in their business.
So one of the things which is very critical is sharing data
Hmm.
related to your health monitoring.
Yeah.
So not only safety, the second major factor about senior population is health monitoring. And the most two common one is blood pressure and blood sugar. So if you look at it, either your blood sugar goes up or down or blood pressure goes up and down, you want to make sure your parents are safe because there's a great chance of, let's say if my sugar drops, I'm going to fall, right? So you should have an ability without asking your parents to see what their blood sugar is, or daily blood sugar monitoring, or
Hmm.
similarly daily blood pressure monitoring. So ability to share data becomes very critical. Currently, there are big challenges in sharing data between, let's say, if I have an iPhone, you have an Android platform, how do you share my data? So there are many healthcare apps, but sharing data between the two multiple platform becomes a challenge. So
I wouldn't have thought of that. I would just think, well, if an app's an app and you're going to be able to do that, but you're saying you can't really share, even though there are so many health apps out there, you can't share the data if someone's on a completely different platform.
absolutely. And second is not only sharing data, also is similar to safety fault detection. If the blood sugar drops or blood sugar increases, there should be an alert to a
Hmm.
son or daughter so that
Hmm.
they need emergency help. Please call them to stabilize them. Right. So I'll give a great example. Last week, within my family, somebody's blood pressure dropped, and son got an alert, and son was proactively able to go to the ER room with her mother and saved her life. She had a triple bypass surgery.
My gosh.
So I think that, as you mentioned, that monitoring, they don't have to ask, but anytime it triggers up or down, the son and daughter should know.
There are serious extreme examples like that where she needed bypass surgery. There are others, we've talked about falls among seniors, and that is probably one of the most common accidents and common reasons for visits to the emergency room and other things. But a lot of this, frankly, is preventable. I mean, you're talking about whether it's monitoring blood pressure, but we've had conversations about things like your diet or dehydration and other things like that, right?
Right. So if you, let's say, along with the blood pressure, blood sugar, if you don't drink water in timely manner, also you get dehydrated. And
Hmm.
due to dehydration, there are other side effects also.
Hmm.
Uh, so the giving a reminder for dehydration or eating on timely manner. Let's say if you have blood sugar and you don't eat on time, then you can fall. So
Yeah.
the reminder for drinking water on a timely manner or reminders for eating on timely manner. It's such a simple thing, but people forget to do it on timely manner.
Yeah, you're right. It's so simple, and you'd think, look, my mom or dad, they're grown. Okay, I don't want to be a pain in the butt. I don't want to have to remind them of that. And even a senior would think, well, why do I need, look, I'm in my 50s and I forget. I find myself dehydrated, and my wife will go, "Why are you? You're off. You need to drink or eat something." And I think the beauty of it is just that's where technology can help you in something so simple that can prevent bigger problems from like falling, like an ER visit, like a doctor's visit, like maybe misdiagnosing something and thinking there's a bigger issue than is really there.
Right. I mean, sometimes it might be a simple gas, right? But people think that I'm not feeling well. So it's good on either extreme, right? Either it's preventive healthcare, I would say, even if it's gas and you go to a doctor and you come back home, it's fine. But at least you're preventing from having a stroke.
Hmm.
That is more important.
Hey, we're going to get back to the conversation in just a second, but I want to take 1 minute to thank our sponsor, My Senior Care Hub, and tell you about something you need to know about if you have an older parent or loved one that you're a caregiver for. Look, being a caregiver is the toughest job you never asked for. And there's so much to keep up with. You're pulled in a million different directions. Are they okay? Are they safe? Did they take their meds? What are their vitals? Did they fall? Where are they? How can I keep everybody in the loop that needs to know about this, family members and more, and still keep my own life on track? It's tough. But that's where my Senior Care Hub comes in. This is an all in one app that you need to have if you're a caregiver. It does all of these things in one place: emergency alerts, medicine reminders, location tracker, fall detection, and a lot more. And right now, if you go to the App Store and download My Senior Care Hub, download it for free. There's no subscription fee, no hidden in app charges or fees or upgrades or anything like that. It's just all in one place to help you become a better caregiver and give you some peace of mind. So if caregiving is part of your life and you are having a hard time juggling it all, go download My Senior Care Hub on the App Store right now. Now, let's get back to the conversation. Well, use that word proactive. And I think that's so important in all of this. You just, you can, you want to be ahead of things before they become serious. And again, there are some major things that you cannot control, but there are some things that by being proactive, whether that is communicating the daily check-ins, and just on a simple level of preventing anxiety and, peace of mind for you as a caregiver, but also for your loved one. But then it's also things like being proactive on, we've talked about, or being proactive with health monitoring and medical monitoring, monitoring your medicines as well.
Yeah, medicine, taking medicine on timely manner is also very important, as you just mentioned. Is
Hmm.
most of the seniors have 8 to 10 medication. They skip one or two, and in long run, it is a wellness issue. A lot of people think, oh, my not taking medication is okay, but if you look at health and wellness, the wellness becomes more critical if you don't take a med. So it's
Hmm.
like a preventive wellness program and taking medicine on time. So
Hmm.
medication also, along with health monitoring, medication is a critical component to take on time.
Hmm. Well, and I know that when before my wife's mom passed, she had a device that would dispense pills. And it was great. But it was one of so many different things out there. And it was a reminder. And, if she wasn't in the room with it, she'd forget about it. She didn't hear it. She'd blow it off. And just having some, but she's on her phone all the time. She's on her phone all the time, playing those games or doing anything else. But to have a reminder of, hey, you need to take this. I mean, that's something that's so simple and being able to prevent so many other things from happening. And you talk about not taking medicines. I think something that is equally as harmful are the different drug interactions as well.
Yeah, the drug interaction is, I think most of the seniors want to have a second opinion because they're taking 7 to 8 medications, right? They want a second opinion. And most of the doctors today are so busy, they don't spend more than 5 minutes with you when you go to doctor's office. So having something with using a technology, now as you know, AI is the everybody's heard the buzzword AI. AI with drug interaction checker can give you much more accurate decision versus doctor giving you a second opinion. So
Hmm.
everybody should look for a technology where drug interaction checker is a critical component as a second opinion.
Hmm.
And also, like I'll tell you, I'm taking a pressure medication, and I didn't know that if I take a grape juice, it will have a side effect. So with this drug interaction checker, not only the medication interaction, but also food allergy or therapeutic. Am I feeling nausea? Am I feeling sleepiness? All that gives you due to drug interaction.
Wow. Well, and that's so important. That's something that, I can tell you, a senior probably wouldn't think of. Mom or dad wouldn't be thinking about that in real time, and I certainly wouldn't, or a caregiver might not be thinking about that. You might just see, oh, they're lethargic. Oh my, is something wrong? Is it a bigger issue? And sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just as simple as recognizing what you're eating and what you're putting in your body.
Sometimes even a simple thing like vitamin, it has some interaction with vitamins, like vitamin B or vitamin D, which is very commonly doctor recommend,
Hmm.
but it doesn't go along with certain type of medication. So it can make you nausea or make you very sleepy. And a lot of times son and daughter feels, oh, my parents are getting older, they're sleeping a lot. But they don't know the reason behind that there's certain type of drugs they are taking, making them feel nausea or sleepy.
Hmm.
And you want to be active. At this age, a lot of people feel why they're not active. And due to certain drugs, it reduces their energy level.
Hmm.
So I think it's very important to make sure that you're taking the right type of drugs and there are no interaction with other vitamins or herbal.
Hmm. And you're saying that your technology, you're doing all of this at once. You're able to communicate. You're able to, the check-ins, the location tracker, but also having that directory right there, that ability to check if there's a drug interaction or to be able to remind you of your meds. Correct?
Yep. And also along with that, many times nowadays nobody wants to go to doctor's office. So this is called symptom checker, right? I can just enter saying I'm having a cold, flu, and these are my symptoms. And based on that, they can recommend that take this type of medication, which you may not need to go to doctor's office.
Right. One of the things I've loved about what you do and with my senior care hub is, yeah, it's amazing that it puts all of these things together. Because again, I've been there. I dealt with it with my late mother. We've dealt with her mother, and like a lot of people, there's a lot to choose from. A lot of things on the market. A lot of good ones, but you know, trying to wrangle all of this, trying to keep track of, oh, you've got this over here, and I have to check this, and you're pulled in a million different directions anyway. I don't need to be pulled anymore to track all this, and that's how things slip through the cracks. But and you all put it together in one particular app. That's great. But what thing I really love, and I suggest this for anybody watching, is you all produce a lot of good content. You all produce a lot of good information out there. It's not just here's use the app, but it's the information that helps people. Like, I mean, that's how we were talking about dehydration. I mean, you're talking about things like that that's really helpful information for caregivers and for seniors to know, whether it's about their own health, about a healthy lifestyle, about all of these things. So it's good. It's a good content source as well. So that's something that I don't see a lot of times.
And one more thing I'll tell you, you just mentioned about the healthcare. Data is also become important. Let's say example, many son and daughter doesn't even know what their father's blood group is. So
Right.
maintaining health record and sharing that data. So if your father and mother goes to the hospital and doctor asks, are there any side effects, allergy your dad have, or the peanut allergy example, right? Do you have, what kind of allergies do you have? What is the blood group? What type of medication are they taking? At one single place with a fingertip, I can click and get the entire healthcare data at one click is very important during ER.
Yeah.
So having organized health information also is critical along with that.
Fantastic. So let's talk for a second about the role of caregivers themselves, because again, uh, there's a lot of things and a lot of people out there helping seniors, and you do that. The app provides direct help and puts it in the hands of seniors. But the caregivers themselves, caregiving, no one sets out to be a caregiver. You really don't. I mean, you sit there, if you're not in the profession, I mean, with your family member, no one said, that label. They know it may be coming, but we've talked a lot about families and where that burden lies. Let's talk about that for a second. What have you seen? And you've had some direct interaction in your own family as well about who steps up and cares for mom or dad or the extended family as well.
Right. So, like typically, I'll tell you, one of my cousin sister, she had not only to take care of the parents, but also she has to monitor their father-in-law, mother-in-law. It's an extended family. Now you need to, as a caregiver, all these seniors are living independently, and
Hmm.
all the caregivers want to make sure they're safe and they want a peace of mind. So the caregiver can do it from remotely
Hmm.
becomes very important
Hmm.
in today's lifestyle.
Hmm. Well, and I think too the stats show that unfortunately the burden of being the caregiver falls oftentimes on women, right? On the daughter.
Yep, mostly on a daughter. Yeah, and they're very emotional, right? As you can see, every daughter is very emotional about their parents or mother-in-law, father-in-law. They're very emotionally touched.
Well, I mean, one thing I like about the technology in this is it's allowed, while traditionally women have been the caregivers, I think the technology is at least equalizing it a little bit to have sons and others step up and being able to participate and be more active in it as well.
That's a good point. Yeah. So now they're equally distributed, son and daughter. With the technology, it helps now with the ease of use.
Hmm. Definitely.
Both the son and daughter have equal responsibility moving
What do you
forward.
see in, because it's oftentimes a child that steps up. If there's multiple siblings, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody handles things differently. Some are more active than others and in different ways. What do you see with what we call the reluctant caregiver? Because they are being stretched with their own lives. They're caring for their parents or an older loved one or in-laws, oftentimes children as well. What are some things that you see or would recommend to people who are kind of pulled back and forth?
So, the reluctant part you just mentioned, right? The reluctant is because they have to rush right away from their hectic schedule. So nowadays the services are available 24 by 7 through third party emergency response team. So along with the not only along with the technology, you are also looking for 24 by 7 emergency help, right? So that reduces the burden. And then the son or daughter wants to participate because now they know that they don't need to rush, they just need to monitor. So they should be looking for a solution where not only monitoring, but along with that, there's a 24 by 7 emergency help provided to send an ambulance or to send a call of fire department, even if they're not around. So that the mentally everybody has peace of mind because of 24 by 7 third party service available.
Let's talk about cost for a second. Healthcare in America today ain't cheap for anybody, and especially the cost of caregiving. And I know that studies show between 75 to 90% of people are choosing to age at home now, to stay at home. But that's going to require oftentimes bringing a caregiver in. That's difficult to find a good caregiver and that you can trust, that you can afford all of this, and then all of these other things. What would you say for folks who are kind of caught in the middle? I mean, who might not have the resources or are looking for ways to make it somewhat affordable to be able to track all these things. I think technology goes a long way in helping that and making it more affordable. But what do you see in that regard?
So, in terms of, as you know, the senior population is growing. Even if they can afford, the resources are not available. There are not enough nurses or social worker who can come to your home because of growing senior population. The demand is increasing every day for senior population. So, the future is virtual care. If I can remotely help either by monitoring, which is a preventive health care, versus and over the virtual care over the phone. So the telehealth is becoming more and more popular. So either telehealth or remote monitoring becomes day-to-day life of virtual care, and which is more affordable than somebody sitting at home 24 by 7. This gives you the same peace of mind 24 by 7, but at much cheaper cost using the right technology.
Now, I want to let our listeners know here again, your particular app is an all-in-one. I mean, it covers so many great things that we've talked about today. But now that you've just launched this in the market, and people can go to the App Store and download it for free. But unlike a lot of apps right now, I mean, there's no, sometimes when you download an app, it's like, great, I download it and now I have to subscribe to this. It's going to cost me a fortune. I have all these other things. Now are really wanting to put this in the hands of as many people as possible. Is that right? And have them use it, correct?
Yeah, currently we have a promotion going on. Whoever wants to take advantage, it's free currently for all the new users who can participate. And second is they will have advantage of all-in-one healthcare app, which currently most of our apps you're going to see, you have to download 5 to 6 different apps for medication reminder, then for blood sugar, blood pressure. So all the different healthcare app all in one we are giving you in a one single stop for healthcare solution.
And again, I want to tell anybody out there, you need to go download this now and try it, and you'll have access to all these things for free. That's the
Absolutely.
thing I that right there. I just know that in my own experience, we've said it again, it's that mad scramble for where do I go, and you sign up for something, you put your email in, you download it, whatever, and you think, oh great, now it's always a marketing play to get me to pay, to pay more, and that's a tough one. And I applaud what you're doing with My Senior Care Hub and really making it accessible to so many people right now so they can make a direct impact in their lives and their loved ones' lives immediately.
Absolutely. Currently, absolutely free. It's all in one healthcare app for safety and the health monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is in one app.
What, I believe in healthcare, like a lot of things in life. You don't know what you don't know until you're there and you experience it. What would you tell someone now who has an older loved one and they know that they may be at the beginning of it or in it now, or they know that it's coming. They know that day is coming. What advice would you give to them that they don't know that they need to know?
So I think the first step, basic 101, is what type of medication they're taking, right? And second is symptom. What type of symptoms is that individual have?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of time people have certain type of symptoms, they ignore it. So not knowing about what the symptom has side effects is very important. So symptom checker with your body, we have a tool which allows them to give at least an opinion saying based on the symptom, there's a short term and a long term impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. And second is taking the right medication. What are the side effects? So those are two critical components. What you don't know. So it's
Mm-hmm.
better to be more proactively alert and saying what you don't know, you should know by using a technology today.
Right.
And AI is the solution today. AI is more accurate than going to even a doctor nowadays.
Well, and what's funny is I know that we used to joke around about the people that they would call themselves Dr. Web MD. You would Google it and suddenly I have a sniffle, great, you're dying. And I think the beauty of AI is, look, there's some intelligence about this. It's going to at least help you narrow it down to something that's real of what's going on and what to consider.
I look at it as a second opinion. And as you said, what you don't know, at least now you are more aware of what your body is about and what you should do and what you should not do. So I think having that second opinion is very critical, I feel, in today's life when the tools are available in the market now with AI.
Right. I want to go back to one thing about communicating with your loved one. And I say reluctance or stubbornness, but sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's fear in dealing with an older parent because they're scared. And we don't, I know my experience is sometimes you don't think about that. You just think they're being obstinate. And you're like, no, she's really kind of terrified of what's going on right now. We're terrified of change. We're terrified of something that she's not in control of or doesn't know. Um, with especially with technology. Okay. I mean, I have another one of our other partners, Jubilee TV. They do great work with helping people um, control the remote, from abroad. And I just can't tell you how many times I had to deal with my mom about, oh my God, the TV doesn't work or this. So when you're now talking with trying to get them to use a technology or an app to be able to monitor your health, your location, your safety, all of these different things. What can you share with people about how can I get my mom or dad to use this app? I know how it's going to help me as a caregiver, but how can I introduce this to mom or dad in a way that they're going to go, okay, that they're actually going to use it, not just download it to get you to shut up, but actually participate and use it?
I think one thing we have learned is son or daughter has to little participate and help them how to use the app, how to enter certain data. Son and daughter just take little initiative and start them using the app. Once they are engaged, it is more like a social engagement every day. Oh, my son would know I've taken my medication. It's an excitement for them. It's like a game reward point, right? Oh, every day, look, son and daughter, look, I took my medicine on time, or I drank my water on timely basis. So it's an engagement rather than social isolation. This makes them more engaged with their family. So if you look at from a social engagement perspective, this makes them a family bonding versus looking at social isolation. So this is a great way of saying, look, we are all together in one team. It's a member of a circle of life, right? So you're all together in one circle and all are communicating on a daily basis. So they don't feel isolated. That's the way to I approach to this problem of using a technology. And I think after COVID, most of the seniors have become a little bit tech savvy. But if you tell them that I'm connected with my family, that's a motivating factor of moving away from social isolation.
Well, I think that's important. I mean, that ideal of the epidemic of loneliness, there have been many studies about how socialization helps improve cognitive function, longevity, all of these things. And whether that is a phone call, whether that's a check in, whether it's a text, whether it's a video call, anything, just whether it's with you, a family member, or a buddy up the street, that is so critical and important to them and to you as a caregiver as well, knowing that they're happy.
Absolutely. I think social isolation is such a big fear today. And this one single app can make them engage socially and digitally. That's a peace of mind, I feel.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so I have some couple unrelated questions for you. So here you are, you are doing great work in helping our seniors and caregivers out there. But whether it's that and this new launch, or whether it's anything in your life, could be anything. What are you most excited about right now?
Was that, can you repeat the question?
Sure. What are you most excited about right now?
I'm excited about helping seniors in any way I can. Every life, if I can save, is my passion, right? And improving the wellness and awareness of health. Because a lot of time we are not aware of health and people are avoiding that. So my passion is to bring awareness to not just to seniors, to every individual is my passion. And being fit. The more you're fit, you can enjoy your life. So I want everyone to enjoy and extend their life by another 5 years. If I can
Excellent.
do that, that's my passion.
That's a good one. That's good. It also doesn't hurt though, knowing that we're going to be old one day and we're going to need it. And so having all of these resources and developments, it's going to help. It's going to help us once we're there as well. So that's good stuff,
Being healthy and being motivated is always fun.
isn't it? All right. So you have a time machine and you get to go back several years, 20, 30 years, and you get to go have coffee with your younger self. What would you tell yourself about making the most and navigating this stage of life?
I think enjoying every moment along with the family, having a cup of coffee with family, and enjoying that moment becomes very critical for me if I have to go back. Every moment, either with my parents or with my kids, if I can enjoy together, that's the family bonding I'm looking for and have a coffee with the entire family on a deck.
It goes fast, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think about that with my kids who are now all grown and married off and everything. And you look at that, and I still think of them when they were small. And you think, God, you're rushing through life. I hear you so much on that. Of boy, just slow down, take a beat, have the coffee, have the juice box, enjoy that, have that time with your mom or dad because they're not always going to be there. So it's important stuff.
Enjoy every moment.
That's good. Anish Desai, you're doing good work. Thanks for
Thank
being on
you.
Advanced
I
Adulting.
appreciate it.